This week on Joelum's movie review, I am going to be reviewing Beetlejuice. With the new movie Beetlejuice being released in theaters today, I just thought, what the hell? I thought I'd cover the original Beetlejuice movie, so when you're done watching this video, you can go watch previous movie review episodes. The playlist is in the description box. Time to go to work. Beetlejuice is a 1988 American dark fantasy horror comedy directed by Tim Burton from a screenplay by Michael McDowell and Warren Scarron, based on a story written by McDowell and Larry Wilson. The film stars Alec Baldwin, Gina Davis, Jeffrey Jones, Catherine O'Hara, Winona Ryder, and Michael Keaton as the title character. It's the first installment of the Beetlejuice franchise. The plot revolves around a recently deceased couple as ghosts. They are not allowed to leave their house. They contact Beetlejuice, a charismatic bio-exorcist, to scare the house's new inhabitants away. The film prominently features the music from Harry Belafonte's albums Calypso and Jump Up Calypso. Following the financial success of Pee-wee's Big Adventure in 1985, in which Tim Burton directed, he became a bankable director and began working on a script for Batman with Sam Hamm. While Warner Brothers was willing to pay for the script's development, it was less willing to greenlight the film. Burton had become disheartened by the lack of imagination and originality in the scripts he had been sent, particularly Hot to Trot. Michael McDowell and Larry Wilson formed a partnership, Pecos Productions, with entertainment attorney Michael Bender, and Beetlejuice was their first original project. After developing the story, McDowell and Wilson decided they would write the first draft of the screenplay together, while Wilson would only take story-by credit as well as producer credit. Burton had gotten to know and work with McDowell and Wilson, who co-wrote the script for The Jar, which happens to be an episode of Alfred Hitchcock Presents, in which Tim Burton directed. Burton read the first draft of Beetlejuice, liked it, but had other projects that kept him from being involved at the time. The original script is far less comedic and much darker, as the Maitland's car crash is depicted graphically, with Barbara's arm crushed and the couple screaming for help as they slowly drown. A reference to this remains: Barbara remarks that her arm is feeling frozen upon returning home as a ghost. Instead of possessing the Dietzes and forcing them to dance during dinner, the Maitlands cause a vine-patterned carpet to come to life and attack them by tangling them to their chairs. The character of Beetlejuice envisioned in the first draft was a winged demon who takes on the form of a short Middle Eastern man, is also intent on killing the Dietzes rather than scaring them, and wants sex from Lydia instead of marriage. In this version of the script, Beetlejuice need only to be exhumed from his grave by being summoned, after which he is free to wreak havoc. He can be summoned but not controlled by saying his name 3 times, and wanders the world freely, tormenting different characters in different manifestations. Beetlejuice's budget was $15 million, with $1 million given over visual effects work. Considering the scale and scope of the effects, which included stop motion, replacement animation, prosthetic makeup, puppetry, and blue screen, it was always Burton's intention to make the style similar to that of the B-movies he grew up with as a child. He saw that he wanted to make the effects look cheap and purposely fake-looking. Burton wanted to hire Anton first as production designer, after being impressed with his work on The Company of Wolves in '84 and Full Metal Jacket in 1987, but first was committed to High Spirits, a choice he later regretted. He then hired Bo Welch as his future collaborator on Edward Scissorhands and Batman Returns. The test screenings were met with positive feedback and prompted Burton to film an epilogue featuring Beetlejuice foolishly angering a witch doctor. Warner Brothers disliked the title Beetlejuice and wanted to call the film House Ghosts as a joke. Burton suggested the name Scared Sheetless and was horrified when the studio actually considered using it. While the setting is the fictional village of Winter River, Connecticut, all outdoor scenes were filmed in East Corinth, a village in the town of Corinth, Vermont. Interiors were filmed at the Culver Studios in Culver City, California. Principal photography took place from March 11th to June 11th of 1987. In Winter River, Connecticut, a married couple by the name of Barbara and Adam Maitland decide to spend their vacation decorating their idyllic country home. As they are driving home from a trip to town, Barbara swerves to avoid a dog, and the car crashes through the side of the covered bridge and plunges into the river. After returning home, she and Adam notice they now lack reflections. When Adam attempts to leave the house, he ends up in a strange and otherworldly desert-like landscape populated by enormous sandworms. The encounter lasts only a few seconds for him, but after Barbara rescues him, she says he was gone for 2 hours. Then they find a handbook for the recently deceased, which leads them to realize they drowned in a river and have become ghosts. The house is sold to the new owners, the Dietz family, arrived from New York City. Charles Dietz is a former real estate developer. His second wife, Delilah, is a sculptor and conceptual artist, and his teenage goddaughter from his first marriage, Lydia, is an aspiring photographer. Under the guidance of the interior designer Otho, the family transformed the house into a new wave work of postmodern art. Consulting the handbook, the Maitlands travel to an otherworldly waiting room populated by other distressed souls, where they discover the afterlife is structured according to a complex bureaucracy involving vouchers and caseworkers. The Maitlands' caseworker, Juno, tells them they must remain in the house for the next 125 years on pain of a dire fate. If they want the Dietzes out of the house, it's up to the Maitlands to scare them away. Adam and Barbara are invisible to Charles and Delia, but Lydia is able to see them. She attributes her paranormal intuition to her strange and unusual nature. Against Juno's advice, the Maitlands contacted a miscreant by the name of Beetlejuice, Juno's former assistant and a now freelance bioexorcist, to scare the Dietzes away. Beetlejuice quickly offends the Maitlands with his crude and morbid demeanor. They reconsider hiring him, but they are too late to stop him from wreaking havoc on the Dietzes. The small town charm and the supernatural events inspired Charles to pitch his boss, Max C. Dean, on transforming the town into a tourist hotspot, but Maxie wants evidence of the ghosts. Using the handbook for the recently deceased, Otho conducts what he thinks is a seance and summons Adam and Barbara, using their wedding clothes, but they begin to age and decay, as Otho unwittingly performs an exorcism instead. Horrified, Lydia summons Beetlejuice for help, but he will only help her if she marries him. Marrying a human would enable Beetlejuice to freely cause chaos into the mortal world. Beetlejuice saves the Maitlands, disposes of Maxie and Maxie's wife in a high striker game, and of Otho by changing his clothes to a leisure suit outfit. Then prepares a wedding before a ghastly minister. Maitlands intervene before the ceremony is completed, and Barbara rides a sandworm through the house, which devours Beetlejuice. The Dietzes and the Maitlands agree to live in harmony within the house. Barbara and Adam form a stronger bond with Lydia, and she persuades them to occasionally unleash their ghostly powers, including spirit possession. Beetlejuice, on the other hand, is stuck in the afterlife waiting room. He steals a number ticket from a witch doctor, who shrinks his head in return. That's the end of the movie. Beetlejuice was released in the United States on March 30th, 1988 by Warner Brothers. The film was a critical and commercial success, grossing $75 million on a $15 million budget. It won the Academy Award for Best Makeup and 3 Saturn Awards for Best Horror Film, Best Makeup, and Best Supporting Actress for Sylvia Sidney. The film's success spawned an animated television series, video games, and a 2018 stage musical. A sequel, Beetlejuice, is scheduled for theatrical release on this day, September 6, 2024. Beetlejuice was met with a mostly positive response based on 109 reviews collected by Rotten Tomatoes. Beetlejuice holds an 82% overall approval rating with an average of 7 out of 10. The website's critical consensus reads, "Brilliantly bizarre and overflowing with ideas, Beetlejuice offers some of Michael Keaton's most deliciously manic work and creepy, funny fun for a whole family." On Metacritic, the film has a weighted average of 71 out of 100 based on 19 reviews. The audiences surveyed by CinemaScore gave the film a B grade on a grade scale of A to F. My overall rating for Beetlejuice happens to be a 75 out of 100. This is one of Michael Keaton's greatest characters. He would go on to play the Batman a year later in Batman 1989 and the sequel Batman Returns. He would also perform a bird in the movie Birdman. And I think he played the role of an arch villain of Spider-Man in one of the Spider-Man movies. I forget which one. But he was playing the role of the Vulture, if memory serves me correct. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section below. This has been Joel on the movie review for this Friday.